The absolute chokehold Starbucks has us all in at this time of year is unrivaled. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking the pumpkin spice latte book tag. Except that I don't really like pumpkin spice lattes. I am drinking coffee right now, but I'm drinking more of a vanilla latte. That is kind of more of my style of drink. I don't know what it is about pumpkin spice lattes themselves. I think it's the spice mixture itself because I like pumpkin flavored. It's just that the pumpkin spice latte doesn't really do anything for me. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. I am not gonna let that stop me from being a basic white girl and celebrating the pumpkin spice latte this year. So we're gonna start with a question about pumpkin spice lattes. What is a book that everybody else hates but that you think is utterly delicious? I'm not gonna go for a book here, but instead I'm gonna go for an entire genre, and that is romance or women's fiction or chick lit. However you want to pronounce it, that's the genre I'm gonna go for. Every single year without fail, contemporary romance is my most read genre. I go back to it time and time and time again. If I am looking to get out of a reading slump, if the world is getting a little bit difficult and I want something that's going to boost my mood a little bit, contemporary romance, adult romance, steamy romance, YA romance, any kind of a book that has a love story, particularly a happy ever after love story, I'm all over it. I'm completely on board. Next question is, fall is my favorite season. What is a cliche that you cannot get enough of? I am absolute trash for There Was Only One Bed. If there is a book that has even a whisper of There Was Only One Bed, I instantly want to read it. There have been a couple where there's been hints of There Was Only One Bed and then they just cruelly rip it away from you again. I lose a little bit of patience. I lose a little bit of trust with the author there. But there are some books that do it so well that I go back to it time and time again. It has slowly become one of my favorite things to see in a book. But if I'm reading a book and I even just get a whisper of there only being one bed, you can instantly see it in my face because I just go. Instantly. Question 3 is sweater weather to t-shirt weather. What is a book that you bought and you were expecting one thing, but by the end you got something completely different? For this, I'm going to go with In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. This is about a woman whose name I completely cannot remember, but she goes to bed one evening after pretty much the best day of her entire life. She has gotten a massive promotion. She and her boyfriend have just gotten approved for a really great apartment in New York City, and to top it all off, he has just proposed to her with her absolute dream engagement ring. So she goes for a little nap before bed and wakes up an hour later. But it's 5 years later on. She's wearing a completely different engagement ring on her hand, and there is a completely different man standing in her kitchen. Now, you might be thinking, oh, okay, so she and her fiance fall out, or things have happened, or maybe he's passed away or something. But the actual reason as to why this other guy is in her house and why she's wearing her different engagement ring completely blew me away. I never once expected that that was the road it was going to go down. I feel like how it was done really well. It was done with a lot of tact and a lot of respect, but oh my goodness, I did not expect that to be the road we were going. Question 4 is spooks. Do you have any spooky books on your TBR? And I have a couple. First one is Lying in Wait by Liz Nugent. I have had this on my TBR and I've had it on my shelf for about 2 or 3 years by now. This is going to be the third of Liz Nugent's books that I've read. I have already read Skin Deep and I have already read one of her others, but the name completely escapes me right now. I know it's not Unraveling Oliver. I know it's the other Liz Nugent book that isn't Skin Deep, but completely out of my head by now. This book is about a woman named Lydia Simons, and her husband has been caught up in a murder scandal, and now their son is also starting to get caught up in everything. The first line of this book is completely what gripped me into it. My husband did not mean to kill Annie Doyle, but the lying tramp deserved it. Now you read that sentence and tell me that you don't want to read on further. I have a couple of other spooky books on my TBR, a couple of like witchy vibes. I would really like to read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I've got another Liz Nugent book on my NetCali shelf that I think I might like to get to. I think it's called Strange Sally Diamond. There are a couple of other books that I know have got like witchy vibes or spooky vibes or like thrillers. I feel like October is a really great time for thrillers, mysteries, horror, any kind of crime books like that. That's really when they start to come alive for me. So October is definitely going to be the time that I'm going to get those done. Question 5 is tarot reading, a 5-star prediction. And I thought Hamnet was going to be a 5-star read way back in 2020 when I first put this on my TBR. Now, as you can see by the use of the bookmark, I'm about halfway through the book and I don't entirely know if it's actually going to be a 5-star or not. It isn't engaging me as much as I hoped it would have engaged me. It's not gripping me as much as I think I wanted it to. But I think a lot of that is down to the fact that I started reading this in September of this year, and that is when I went through one of the biggest reading slumps I've ever had. I think in September I read 4 books in total, 10 fewer than I had read in August. So I think I just need to reset my brain when it comes to reading a little bit. And I'm not entirely sure Hamnet is the way to go with that. I am still reading it, I am still enjoying it, but I don't necessarily know if it's the 5-star read I was hoping it would be. Question 6 is Sephora Sage and Crystal Set, a book that meant well, but really missed the mark. I have said this time and time and time again. Whoever okayed the friend zone, I would like to have a sit down chat with them and ask if everything is okay. The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez is one of the worst books I've read in my entire life. Okay, I see what they were trying to do. I see they were trying to do a whole really uplifting story about infertility, about women who are struggling with conceiving a child, or maybe about women who, for various reasons, have decided that having a child is just not for them. But then you come to the end of this book, and our main character, Kristen, who has been suffering with infertility issues for the majority of the book and has made her peace with the fact that a child is not in the future for her, motherhood is not something that she's going to be experiencing in her life, falls pregnant on her first try with the male love interest in this book. I felt like it was such a kick in the gut for so many women out there who have struggled for years with infertility issues, who have desperately wanted to have a child of their own, and it just seems like the goal is getting further and further away every month. I really, really hope that any woman who is in that situation never comes across a copy of this book, and if they do and they put a load of petrol onto it, I will be there to hand them the matches. Those are my answers to the pumpkin spice latte tag. What is your autumnal drink of choice? If you can't think of anything that you would like to say but you still like to leave a comment, then please leave me the pumpkin and the coffee cup emojis. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.